Hello everybody, hope y'all are doing good out there today. The other day, Jim over at Hunting, Fishing, and Praying started an open tag, and we're supposed to show our 5 favorite knives. And so that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. Now, I'm going to do this a little bit different than I think some people will, because I'm not going to look at my 5 favorite particular knives. I'm going to do my 5 favorite patterns. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I like so many different handle materials from Case, whether it's bone, Delrin, different jigging patterns, different colors, that I would have a really hard time picking through my knife collection and picking the colors. So I'm going to pick the pattern, and in these patterns it could be any one of these handle materials would be absolutely fine with me, but these right here would be my 5. First thing I want to say is the first 4 were very easy for me, and the 5th one I had a little more trouble with, but let's look at these one at a time. The first one we'll look at here was the knife that almost didn't make it on this list. Now, I like this knife a lot, don't get me wrong, but it was a tight battle with the Mini Trapper. Either one of these could have taken my 5th place, but this would be number 5 on my list. And this is a Case 032 Stockman. I happen to have 2 of these, both in amber bone, one in CV steel and one in CS steel. This one has a very dark amber bone and was made in 2016. When I found this one at the pawn shop, the blades looked awful. I mean, it looked absolutely awful, and it looked like it was rust. Most of it was patina that was just very spotty for some reason and dark. I was able to buff all that off and clean this knife up. I paid under half price of normal going price for one of these. These can get expensive. These can get up in the $70 range when new. They're probably worth every penny of that, but that's a lot of money. So if you find one of these, keep an eye out for one of these used. But the 032 is the lightest Stockman for its size, and it's the thinnest Stockman. It's going to have blade rub. That's all there is to it. I'd rather have blade rub on a Stockman than have a Stockman that's 3/4 of an inch wide, or just way too wide. You might have to have a Stockman an inch wide to keep from absolutely no blade rub unless you want to make the blade super thin. So I'm willing to deal with some blade rub to have a nice, good carryable knife. Overall, the handle length is 3.5 inches. You can see what a nice patina that this particular knife has on it. This is from Cutting Potatoes. But you got your main clip point blade, your secondary sheep's foot blade, and there you can see the CV. I believe this is the same sheep's foot that's shared with the 18 pattern. If it's not the same one there, it's nearly identical. I've looked at them both before, and I really can't tell much difference. Then lastly, we have our little pin blade. Again, you'll notice that CV marking. So the 032 pattern is a great knife. It's the knife that I'd gotten my grandpa a while back, and he carried it for quite a while, and I got him a Sodbuster Jr. also. And ever since he got that Sodbuster Jr., he's been carrying that instead. Nevertheless, they're both good knives, and that right there is probably my 5th option, but as I'm saying, it could have been switched out with the Mini Trapper or the medium jack. It's funny, I only have one of these, but I really like that little knife with them black synthetic handles. Then my 4th on my 4th favorite would be this 18 pattern right here. This knife is it's 3 5/8 inches long, if I remember right, from end to end. It's just a little bit bigger than the 032 that we just looked at. You can see it's just very slightly longer because of the round bolsters, but it's the same basic Stockman, just a round bolstered Stockman. This one's in burnt indigo, corncob jig, arrowhead badge. Beautiful knife. Again, this was another one I picked up used at the same pawn shop I got the other one, as a matter of fact, but about a year and a half, 2 years between them. This one was just really grungy, needed a good cleaning and polish. This one's from 2018, if I remember right. Yep, 2018. 18 pattern is the sturdy Stockman. If the 032 pattern is thin and light, the 18 pattern is thick and sturdy. You can see how thick the liners are, and it's built so solid. It's just a great knife. I have never found 18 pattern with a loose blade. Now, I'm absolutely sure they've got to be out there, but I've never found one. And they're just rock solid from the way that they're designed and put together. And they're so versatile. You got the Turkish clip blade, or the California clip blade, however you want to refer to it. It's an absolutely great blade shape. Some people don't like the way it looks. I didn't used to like the way it looks, but I've grown to appreciate it just because it's such a useful blade. Also, your secondary blade is going to be your sheep's foot blade. There you can see the 6318. And again, I do believe this is the exact same sheep's foot blade that you'll find on your 032 medium Stockman. I believe it's identical. And then your third blade on here is going to be a spay blade instead of the pin blade like you had on the 032 pattern. And that little blade there is a good tough blade. The blade stock is thick all the way to the tip, and I use that as my hard use blade. If I'm cutting through a rope, zip tie, or something like that, that's the blade I normally go to if I can. And I like to use that a lot. It's a really great knife. Another benefit I will say is in the design of it itself. The sheep's foot rides a little higher in the handle, and that's so you can pinch it open. And also, the California clip sets down nice and low in the handle, so it's extremely comfortable and ergonomic when you're using the sheep's foot blade as your primary blade, which I think most people will do. So the 18 pattern would be my fourth favorite. Third would be the classic case full-size 54 pattern Trapper. This one here is in the yellow Delrin, 4 1/8 inches long. 4 1/8 inches long. Got them great, useful blades on it. The clip blade on a Trapper is about the most functional, versatile, and useful blade shape I believe of any pocket knife. It's absolutely great. Get a Trapper and use it, and you'll grow to love it. It's just a great knife. This is an old 2019. This was one of the first case knives I ever bought, and you can see what a nice patina it has developed. I once whittled a garden hoe handle with this knife. But it's just a beauty. I've used it a lot, and I really enjoy this knife. It's hard to beat a yellow Delrin case Trapper with carbon steel blades. It's just one of the best knives ever made. There isn't much else to say about that. You can't go wrong with it, and everybody who's a knife collector needs a case Trapper. And ideally, this particular one is just so classic. This would be the one that I would recommend you to go with. It's just so wonderful. Second is going to be the classic Sodbuster Jr. I like the Sodbuster Jr. It's such a great knife. As I was telling a friend of mine the other day, everybody needs a case Sodbuster Jr. It's not going to be some people's favorite knife. Maybe they prefer more than one blade. Maybe they like a locking blade. Maybe they only like fancier bone handles. But I like the Sodbuster Jr. Specifically, I'm talking about these synthetic ones. I'm not really talking about the fancier bone ones. A synthetic Sodbuster Jr. like this is one of the most useful knives you'll ever have. The Delrin is incredibly tough, incredibly durable. It's just a great material. Takes on a lot of character as you use it. And I love the way that the black and the brass work together. And it's just a beautiful knife. It's so simple. It's beautiful. You got your brass liner, single back spring. This is also 3 5/8 inches long or so when it's closed. But as we said, this is a single bladed knife. If you get the black synthetic, you'll get the stainless Sodbuster Junior etch, and I think that etch adds a lot to this knife. Usually I don't like etching on blades. On the Sodbuster, I think it's really nice. This one's a 2024 also, by the way. These Sodbusters are designed to be working knives, and that's really where they excel. They're one of the cheapest knives you can buy from Case. They're one of the most durable knives, and they've got such a charm to them that I just really like the Sodbuster Junior. If I had to pick 2 knives to use for all time, the Sodbuster Junior would be one of the big competitors here. It's just such a great knife. And I was noticing the other day, I was cutting up some potatoes and carrots and onions and stuff for supper, and I was using some different blades, and I was just noticing just how great the blade is on the Sodbuster Junior when you're slicing. It takes half the effort it does for a lot of blades to slice through a vegetable. It's just absolutely great. It fits the hand, feels good in the hand, it rides good in the pocket. I just like it a lot. That's all I can say about it. And the Sodbuster Junior would be my second favorite pattern. And my first would probably be this little knife right here, the Case Peanut. Y'all know that I like the Case Peanut a lot. This one right here is an old red worn bone. This is one of Case's pocket worn knives, and it's absolutely beautiful. It has a corncob jig. It's a 2-bladed knife, stainless steel back springs with liners in between. The Peanut is under 3 inches long. It's a pretty small little knife, but the knife uses, but the way the knife's designed, it allows you to have as much versatility as possible. If you notice how close to the end that blade goes, what that does is it allows you on the Peanut, it allows you to have a ton of blade for the size of the handle. The smaller the handle, the easier it is to carry. The longer the blade, the better it is to cut. And the Peanut just hits this sweet spot just about perfectly, I think. I really enjoy the cant on the blade on the Peanut. When you hold it, it fits the hand nice. It's not going to fill up your hand, but it gives you a good grip and a firm grip, and you don't really need it to fill up the whole hand, at least in my opinion, because it feels so good as it is. That's plenty enough grip. But the clip blade is a nice thin blade stock it does excellent at cutting. It just does a great job. Plus, this is the only knife in my top 5 that has half stops. And then your secondary blade is this little pin blade right here, and that pin blade is a great little blade. It's tough, stronger little blade, and it's the blade I use on this knife if I have a tougher task to do. Again, I got nothing bad to say about the Peanut. I really, really like the Case Peanut. I like everything about it. 6220. So yeah, the little Peanut here would be my my first in my 5 favorites. Now, the reason why I wanted to do my favorite patterns instead of my favorite knives is because I like so many knives with different handle materials on them. The Peanut could have easily been this yellow Delrin, or it could have been this gum fuddy Peanut, which I have really, really enjoyed carrying lately. This is a super great knife, and it's just great. I really like this one a whole lot, and I almost wanted to put it in the 5, but like I say, I was doing it by pattern, and not handle material. And as if I haven't shown this one enough lately, I'll show this one again. This green pearl peanut that I picked up with the white Spar-X badge. This is a beautiful knife right here. Again, it's showing up more blue, but it is green. But any of this handle materials could have been the knife in this video. Same thing with the Sodbuster. The Sodbuster Jr. is classic with a yellow handle and a carbon steel blade. It could have stood in the place of this black synthetic with our stainless steel blade. Or we could have done one of the other models. Something like this one right here with your jig synthetic. Or we could have gone even fancier and done one of these fancy bone models like this lizard skin right here. But I did want to keep the Sodbuster Jr. a synthetic knife because I prefer the Sodbuster Jr. with a synthetic handle. This yellow case trapper could have been replaced by this beautiful chestnut smooth bone stainless steel bladed trapper. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. And it's an absolute beauty, that's for sure. And it could have stood into place. And then lastly, the 18 patterns. I've got a lot of 18 patterns that I really appreciate. And it could have been any one of them right there standing in place of this burnt indigo. And that's the reason why I wanted to go by pattern and not by handle material. Now, I did want to say a quick thing about sentimental knives. I don't really have any sentimental knives. There are certain knives, of course, that bring back memories of the people who may have given it to me or who I traded with, or just something about the knife that reminds me of them. But even in those cases, to me, the knife itself is not really sentimental. It's just a knife. It's the memory that really means something to me. So I really don't have any sentimental knives, but these would be the closest that I could get right here. This Gumfuddy Sodbuster is sentimental to me because a good friend of mine went down to Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and was looking around in there, and he knew I liked the Sodbuster Jr. pattern, and he bought this for me and brought it back and gave it to me. And the memory of him doing that for me and how nice that was, this knife reminds me of him. And so that makes this knife has a unique memory connected with it. Plus, it's a great user knife, that's for sure. It's a pretty knife, and it's a great user. I have not carried this knife enough. I don't know why on the Sodbuster. I really like the Gumfuddy handles, but I always tend to gravitate toward the smooth synthetic one. I don't know why. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Which one did you like better? This one right here, this Mother of Pearl 01 Senator is absolutely a beautiful knife. My dad got this for me as a gift for my birthday. And this one is special because I remember him ordering this for me. I've even got the black velvet jewelry box it came with. It had never been used or anything, and I cleaned it up real good and polished it up. It's a 1980 model. This is a super neat little knife. 8201 is going to be your pattern number, and so when I look at this knife, I remember my dad. So this one has that memory connected to it. And then lastly, this one right here. I had been having some trouble with some knives a few years ago. I'm thinking this was back in 2021. It was either late 2021 or early 2022. I think it was late 2021. I had went to, I had ordered, it was the Old Timer Generational Series Bruin that looked like a Sodbuster. It has them brown bone handles and a lock back. And I got one of them, and I opened and closed it 2 or 3 times, and the back spring broke, so I had to ship it back. And after I returned it, I had ordered a small lockback Berenson, and it was put together so poorly, it was awful. The knife wasn't even usable, it was so bad. The blade wouldn't lock or nothing, so I ended up having to send it back. And on the way back, my mom was with me. We swung into a local pawn shop, And when we walked in, there was this old rocking chair that they'd gotten in by the door there. And so she went and sat down in that rocking chair. And I went on back and saw this knife. Now, I didn't have any 18 pattern Stockmans at that time, and I didn't think I liked them either. I thought that the 18 pattern, I thought that the clip blade, this style clip blade, I just thought it was way too ugly, and I didn't like it. But he had this one, he had a good price on it. So we haggled very lightly, and I ended up buying this one, got it for a real good buy. It's a 2020 model, and the way I remember it, it was late 2021, so it was only about a year old. And it was in real good condition. I've put all this patina on it myself. The blades were nice and shiny when I got it. But I remember getting that and being so happy about it and thinking, I'll see what I think of it. And, of course, growing to really like it over the next few weeks as I carried it. And I remember talking to my mom and her sitting in that rocking chair. And we had some rabbits at the time, and I remember feeding the rabbits peaches, cutting them up with this knife because we had a lot of peaches that year, and that's some fun memories right there. Now, my mom, that rocking chair she was sitting in disappeared shortly after, and I didn't see that rocking chair for another few years, and it suddenly showed back up at that pawn shop. And so I asked him about it, and he said he hadn't sold it like I had assumed. He said he had only set it back in the back because he wasn't sure he wanted to sell it. So I ended up kind of bugging him until he gave me a price on it and ended up buying it. It's a bicentennial rocking chair. Maybe I'll do a video on it someday. I thought it was really neat when I saw it. So yeah, those are my top 5 patterns and 3 knives that have good memories. Now, if I would add in a multi-tool, the multi-tool, hands down, would be the Leatherman Bond. There is no arguing there in my mind. The Leatherman Bond, in my opinion, it is my personal favorite, and in my opinion, it's probably the best multi-tool for most people doing most things. There's specialty multi-tools that are heavier duty and such, but this one right here is excellent, and I really like it. Comment down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks, hunting, fishing, and praying. Thank you for sending out this open tag. Y'all have a good day. Keep your knives sharp.